Hey, what's up everybody? Mike here, and today we're going to talk about video games. Yet again, we have another video that hopefully will help you break down kind of this process of selling video games on eBay and Amazon, what to look for, and just give you some inside information. I think I'll do a video each week covering a different topic about video games that people want to know. So if you have something you want to request specifically for this series, post it down below, and I'll try and cover it in detail. Now today we're going to cover two topics actually. The first one is how do you judge the condition of a video game? Now there's a lot of misinformation out there. It can be very confusing if you're new in selling video games, and the keywords you should use are very different based on different consoles and systems. On top of that, I want to talk about the clientele looking for these games so you understand exactly who you're focusing on and who you're trying to sell these products to. Now to start out, the biggest misinformation out there is about complete games and incomplete games. So I want to talk about that first, and we'll get to the clientele later. The most common game that you're going to run into is a cartridge or a disc, right? These two things by themselves should be labeled as cartridge only or disc only. Those should be keywords in your title if you're trying to sell these. Another keyword you might use is loose. People look for these things to finish off, if they have a case, to finish off the case, they might need the game. So these would be considered cartridge only, disc only, and loose. Now if you have the game with the case, you would label this as case and game only. Now this isn't loose, so you won't use the word loose. A lot of people who aren't major collectors will look for a game with the case and the game. They can care less about the manual, especially in a game like this where you're not going to need the manual. Now if this had the manual in it, we would label it as complete. Now that's true for an Xbox game. This is complete with the game, case, and manual. So the question is that true for all games? Well, technically not. Right here I have Banjo-Kazooie. I have the manual. I have the game. But this game is not complete, and here's why. It's missing the advertisements that come with Nintendo 64 games. One will be a controller advertisement, the other will be a Nintendo advertisement, and it's missing the insert that holds the game. The main issue that's occurred on eBay and Amazon is people have started labeling games as game, manual, case as complete because newer games are complete with that stuff. That is not actually true for retro video games. So this really brings a huge debate up. Can I label my games as complete if they don't have all three parts? Or can I not label them as complete? Everyone else is labeling them as complete. The fact of the matter is, because the market's so flooded now, you should probably label this as complete to try and get it sold. A lot of people who are searching for complete are just looking for the game, the case, and the manual. But I want to explain further how to get around this and how you can sell your game that's truly complete for a lot of money. Now, we move on to here. I have the case. This is for Wave Race. I have the cartridge. I have a manual and two advertising inserts. Now the question is this game complete? No, it's not. The reason is it's missing this white box, which this is for a different console, that holds the game. So for this to actually be complete, it needs the box that holds the cartridge, three manuals, two of them are advertisements, one is a manual, and the actual game cartridge. That is a truly complete game if I had the insert. But then again, this would also be labeled as complete on eBay now. So I want to explain right now how you can let collectors know you have a truly complete game versus what everyone labels as complete now. Here's a game that's truly complete, guys. This is for Virtual Boy. This is a Japanese import, but I just happen to have this complete. So we got Galactic Pinball. We have the cartridge and the insert that holds it into the box. Then I have the original Nintendo advertisement and the manual. So for any retro game that's complete, it should usually have box, manual, advertising insert, game, and an insert that holds the game. So this is a truly complete game. And now I want to talk about the keywords you can use to let collectors know you have a fully complete game. The main things you can do are in your title. You can put true complete Wave Race 64 if you have everything for it. Or collector's complete is also what that is known as. Unfortunately, over the last 10 years, the definition of a complete game has altered greatly because newer games have a lot less stuff. So people assume what's complete here is complete there, which isn't true. The main thing is the clientele you're aiming at. So that's why I want to get into that and explain it a little better. There are three types of clientele that buy retro video games. There are just the normal people like me who want a piece of their nostalgia, so they might buy Banjo-Kazooie just to play it. And they might just buy the cartridge. They don't need the box and manual. Maybe some of them do want the manual and box, but they're not going to pay a lot for it. They would buy something like this that's beat up for cheap money just to have it because they had it when they were a kid. Then there's level 2, which is like the mid-level collector. They're not hardcore collectors. They're not looking to have every game in a collection. They nitpick what they want, and the condition doesn't have to be great. So for instance, this Wave Race labeled as complete without the insert in it would be perfectly fine for them. And they would be willing to pay good money for it, but nothing crazy. Now then there's level 3, the top level collector. They're the people looking for these truly complete games. You know, when you post a game that's collector's complete or true complete, they're the ones willing to pay top dollar to make sure it has every component to it so they can add it to their collection. Now the main difference between these three people is the amount of money they're willing to spend and how nitpicky they are. The general guy like me, I don't really care if the cartridge even has writing on it. I just want to play it. The true collector is going to care about every little thing, a little nicks on the corner, you know, if something is bent. So the importance here is if you have loose games, you can probably describe them pretty loosely. If you have a complete game, a real complete game, make sure you point out any flaws in your listings. You point out every little thing a true collector might like to know, because that game is not going to be geared towards anyone except a collector. No one else cares about a complete game except a collector. So none of those little things matter until you're listing complete games. Now here, if you're listing this and this has blatant box damage, make sure you list that on the listing. But a collector isn't going to come along and buy a dented Wave 64, Wave Race 64 with the missing insert and everything for top dollar. It's not going to happen. So the main differences here I want to point out are what a complete game actually is. It needs to have everything. That's the true definition of complete. The loose definition of complete now is game, manual, and case. I understand why it became that way, but it's not actually. If you're geared towards collectors, they're never going to buy your stuff as complete like that. The other thing is, if you're selling retro video games, there's a market for everything. There is literally so many levels of buyers that you can sell anything. You can sell Blitz Football, the disc, or the disc and case, or Banjo-Kazooie with a damaged box and a game and a manual, or the complete Virtual Boy Galactic Pinball. There's a buyer for each type of these. Just make sure you understand very well who you're selling the game to. And if you really have a nice game, a valuable game that is complete, it has all the components, make sure you describe each one individually. Take your time and put your price high. These collectors are willing to spend money. I mean, I've seen collectors buy games for thousands of dollars. I've sold a video game for $1,000. It's no joke to them. They really take it serious. You cannot even understand the level these people are on when they collect until you meet one of them, which I have. I met a guy who has each and every Nintendo 64 game complete, like truly complete, in plastic hard cases on a shelf that has a case in front of it. Like, these people are not playing games. So make sure if you list that stuff, you list it accurately and understand the difference between things. And if you don't believe me that people list everything as complete, go right now and search any of the games I mentioned, and I bet you'll find one that has a manual game and case is complete, one that has the inserts manual game is complete, and then one that actually is complete, and they all just say complete. So just understand that each level is a lot different in the amount of seriousness they're going to buy something, and understand that you need to describe your video games accurately to get top dollar. Always be willing to hold on truly complete games for a long time for a good price. They will bring good money. If you have any games that are sealed and you have questions, or you have games that are complete and you have questions, message me. I'll happily help you appraise them and sell them for the proper dollar amount. Someone the other day posted in the Resellers Roundtable about a complete Game Boy that was sealed, the original factory seal. I believe that Game Boy came out between 91 and 94, and it's still sealed to this day. She said she had it for, I think, over 15 years now. And, people were posting all kinds of price ranges. Oh, this sold at this price, this sold at this price. That doesn't matter. Those things come along so, rarely, I guess you would say, that you can price things really high. And like I told her, I think it's worth between $400 and $700. It was a Game Boy Pocket, the Blue Ice one, and it was sealed, and the seal looked really good. And all the little things matter. I mean, it comes down to nicks on the case, dents in the corner, if the seal was straight, if the top tab sits flat. All these things affect how things would get graded, how collectors perceive them, and what they're worth. So you need to really learn if you're going to sell retro video games seriously and take into consideration all the little things that people might care about. But with all that being said, I hope this just gave a better understanding of how you should, value your games as far as like if they're complete or not, and the type of sellers you're going to be looking to sell to. If you really just want to, deal with normal everyday video gamers, look for loose games and stuff that's not so complicated, and you'll be able to sell that stuff. There's a lot of them out there. There's probably more normal gamers than there are collectors. Now, as far as actual condition goes, on eBay, you have the choices of like acceptable, good, very good, like new. Be conservative when you call things like new, to say the least. Like, this is in perfect condition, and I don't even know if I would consider it like new because the manuals have some indentation. That's another thing to remember is like, it's a lot easier to say a cartridge is in like new condition as itself than a cartridge with the box and everything else is also in like new condition. So be conservative when you're good on the higher end of, calling things like new, very good. But most games are going to be above acceptable. Like this game would be acceptable just because this box is absolutely destroyed, which is a long story. But I just kind of want to break that down for you. I hope this helped out. I really enjoy talking about video games. I do really know a lot about them. I've been selling them for 5 years. I've been playing them for my entire life, and I have really gotten to understand what collectors look for and the way they perceive and talk about things. So I hope this video helped you. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you want me to continue to talk about video games, let me know in the comments that you guys like this type of stuff. And let me know if there's a topic you want me to cover, because there's a million things to cover. There's a million consoles to cover. There's so much stuff. I mean, I can make 1,000 videos in a year about video games and still not cover everything. So let me know what you specifically are looking for. And I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this helped you kind of understand the difference between different sets of video games and what the buyer is looking for from you.